charge to make the 2024 Broker Carrier Summit possible, and we are so excited to have their support. In case you haven't heard, TAFS offers much more than freight factoring. It provides a comprehensive support system for trucking companies of all sizes, specializing in fast and efficient invoice factoring with the ability to pay carriers in as little as 1 hour. And TAFS services go well beyond factoring, offering a fuel card that unlocks major fuel discounts, flexible business loans that are designed to cater to the distinct needs of a carrier's operations, a dedicated, responsive client experience team, and much more. Black Box Logistics is a 3PL freight brokerage based out of Birmingham. Alabama Black Box Logistics was formed in 2020 by 3 friends, Logan Dyer, William Graves, and Will Hopkins, in a basement office with the goal of bringing transparency around the clock communication and hassle-free customer experience to the table. Wirebee is an AI-powered call automation platform built for freight brokers, designed to screen every inbound call in real time, block spoofing, phishing, and double brokering scams, verify compliance through integrations with FMCSA, Highway, and My Carrier Portal, and automatically connect brokers with qualified, vetted carriers, all before a human ever picks up the phone. Sales-CRM is built for freight broker and agent sales teams. Manage your shipper prospecting and follow-ups. Organize your carriers in the lanes they run. HD Ships is a leading logistics provider specializing in sustainable and tech-driven freight solutions. With hubs in Reno, Phoenix, and London, we deliver comprehensive services, including full truckload, expedited cross-border, and intermodal freight. Leveraging proprietary technology, we offer 24/7 tracking, real-time visibility, and advanced automation to ensure safe, compliant, and efficient transportation. Our commitment to sustainability enables clients to offset emissions through carbon credits, aligning logistics with environmental goals. At HD Ships, we prioritize transparency, reliability, and exceptional customer service, empowering clients to achieve seamless, sustainable logistics solutions worldwide.
Happy Friday Eve, or happy Thursday.
Friday Eve. I like that. I'm going to start saying that.
That's true. The Friday Eve before a long Labor Day weekend. I didn't really realize it was Labor Day until like yesterday, honestly. We're coming up on Labor Day weekend.
One of those holidays that just kind of creeps up. It's always nice to get a 4-day weekend. Well, how's Chattanooga treating you? It's good to see that you've remained there. You haven't fled to any odd countries or anywhere crazy? You're
I got a lease, man. I'm kind of going to be here, although I will venture probably after conference season in October. Probably will venture off to South America for a bit in November, December. But yeah, it's going good, man. I'm loving it. I'm loving it here. Yeah, it is. I think we talked about this last show, but it is really interesting. You go out anywhere, you run into somebody who knows somebody in logistics or works in logistics. It's like, can't say that unfortunately about Birmingham.
Hey, man, you'd be surprised. There's a lot of logistics shops here, but I mean, more so importantly, you hop on the tender and get swiping, and you see a bunch of people.
Oh, okay, all right. Moving on. Shout out to our sponsors, Wirebee, Fr8topia, vetting service, great company, great people. Black Box Logistics, Will's company.
The People's Choice 3PL.
Okay. HD Ships, if you're looking to be an agent. Sales Dash, the OG sponsor from even before we actually started the show, when we announced we were doing the show. Been with us since for a year and a half now. Pacific CRM, Josh, Drew, great. We have agents that use them. Will's company uses it. And then check our banner sponsor, Taft's, top 10 factoring company. Ryan and Rob, fantastic. We did confirm they are not using AI yet for carrier checking calls, so got that going for you.
Yeah, they seem to be a pretty people-centric company. And then if anybody's listening and you're not in a position to like change factoring companies, I would encourage you to check out their website. There's a lot of good educational content. They're great, down-to-earth people, and they're willing to just have conversations and educate people. And you don't always find that in sales. A lot of times people, are just trying to sell you something, right? But they seem to really care about the industry, making it a better place. So shout out to them. We're proud to be aligned with all of our sponsors, and it's a great group of companies.
Yeah, 100%. It's kind of hard to believe. Tash has been with us it's been over a year now too, right? We have 2 sponsors over a year.
Yeah, man. It's been a while. Forget what episode we're on, but we're in the 70s, I believe. So yeah, hopefully many more to come.
Yeah, 100%. I'm excited for today's guest. I mean, not only is he a really smart, successful individual, but he's got a real great personality. I've met him in person twice. That's one fun part about the show we don't really talk about. I feel like 25% of our guests now, either I've met or you've met or both of us have met. So kind of makes it fun, doing some shows with people you've met in person too.
Yeah, I've never met Tristan, but we were just talking pre-show. He's one of those people. Every time I see his name, comment, post, or anything, it's always so positive, right? And like that's pretty rare, especially in our industry, like this climate. It seems there's a good bit of negativity, right? But it's always something positive with him. And I mean, there's been countless times where I've scrolled across a post and I just came away just kind of like in a better mood. So it's like, man, this guy's so happy. What am I pissed off about? So I'm excited to have him on the show and get into it, hear about his experience, and just chop it up.
Yeah, let's do it. Should be fun.
Yeah, let's bring him on stage. Tristan, man, appreciate you joining us.
What's up, Dawgs?
Happy Thursday, man. How's you're in California now these days still, right?
Yeah, I've always been here. It's nice. I mean, the weather right now, it's about 80s. It's perfect. So how about you guys? Chattanooga and Birmingham, is it like humid?
Probably around the same. I don't really know the temperature. I did learn something new the other day. It rains more in Chattanooga than it does in Seattle, which I never would have thought until I think Dooner told me that on like Twitter, or somebody else confirmed it too. I was like, it's kind of wild to me. But
hey, are we sure though? I don't know. I check that. It is in Birmingham. We've got I don't know if you call it a cold front, right? Because it's like 70s, but it's cooling off a little bit. We're enjoying some weather. Oh, I'm sorry, Matt. We get it. You're from Minnesota. Cold fronts, -10.
Yeah, that's horrible. That's not a cold front. That's a horrible front.
Yeah,
Mia made a post today about Chicago, but she's never been there for the winter. And I said somebody's got to host a conference in like Chicago or Minneapolis in January. Get all the Southern and California people to go to a cold state in January.
Probably
I'm good. I'm good. I'm a you, Will. I'm good.
Yeah. Y'all can have that one though. Y'all should do it, but I won't be there. Well, awesome, man. Tristan, for those that don't know you, man, give us a little bit of background on yourself. How you got into the industry, what you're doing now, just a quick, just run us through it.
Yeah, well, I started in LTL in 2004. It's actually one of my best friend's dad. We just didn't have a job after college, and we were just surfing around, bumming around, and and I actually liked it. I've always liked sales. I've always liked connecting connecting with people. And I felt like it was a lot easier back then because we sold rates, right? Like we didn't know how to be sales guys. We just, hey, what's your discount like? I don't know if you guys know much about LTL, but that's how I started. And I got really got some great accounts, and then I started to dive into full truckloads, and that's when I realized that our brokerage was not set up for full truckloads. And so we didn't even have DAT guys. Like we would just call carriers. Your memorization had to be really good. We had a book, it was to look up, it was like class it. I know you guys nowadays, you could look up whatever it is. We had to memorize this book, like where it was at, so we could figure out the class. And then, we didn't have DAT. We just had to memorize our carriers. And that's how I got into it. And in 2009, I had the opportunity to join Covenant. And I was, when the agency model was getting popular right around 2008 and 9, we were getting recruited, Armstrong Group. I was looked into Global Trans at the time. CRST had theirs. And of course, you guys know Landstar. Like everyone had a Landstar back then too. But Covenant was more aligned with what we were thinking. I had a business partner at the time, and I said, dude, this is the way to go. Let's just do it. So yeah, we represented both. We had LTL, which was Diversified Transportation, and then Covenant. And then for some crazy reason in 2018, I was like, man, I want to own my own trucks. I want to know what that feels like. So I went out and it was the only way, I had a non-compete for a year.
Yeah.
So I didn't have to compete with the brokerage and the guys at Covenant. I wasn't of any threat, because I wasn't going after any of those accounts anyways. I was more of a small, mid-sized kind of guy that wanted to build relationships, and that's all I cared about. So I bought some trucks, and I thought, one of my customers, and they were my customers for like 4 or 5 years until they went out of business, Coolpack. And that's how I was able to run a successful trucking company. Because, in brokerage, literally all we care about is the one way. That's the only variable. Oh yeah, and the driver doesn't pick up. Okay, let's just recover it. But when you own assets, you got to worry about coming home. You got to worry about the balance of just like where you're picking up and the delays, and then your driver, and then all the unforeseen, and then all the costs. I mean, it is insane. I was like, holy moly, and it made me feel really good. It made me become a born again broker, because I was kind of a piece of crap too when I first started, because I didn't really know what the cost of trucking was. I'm sure you guys can relate to that. But yeah, that's how I started, and it's been fun. I literally love this industry. That's why today you're talking about how positive I am. I just felt like I've gone through it, man. I've gone through the ringer, and there's nothing that I don't think I can survive.
Yeah.
And it's just like, yeah, this business sucks ass, Oh, am I allowed to cuss?
Yeah, you can say whatever.
Yeah. So, I mean, it sucks. But you've got to what business is perfect though, right? Like once you could get through all of that and you just feel it, you know that you could just get through anything. And so
I think that statement itself is a good, what I enjoy about the suck, if you want to call it that, like the difficulty of logistics, and I don't have trucks, so I can't relate to that. I did dispatch, and I can relate to what you're saying to an extent, right? Like I didn't own the trucks, but seeing that side of the industry, it's a different animal. And as we were talking pre-show, it kind of changed my perspective of brokering. So I can relate to the almost like born again broker when we started Black Box. But back to the suck part, I think that's a good thing for those that can have a mindset similar to yours, where it's like, yeah, like it sucks, but like let's stay positive and just handle it. And I think a lot of people get dragged down by the negativity, so it's kind of easy to separate and elevate based off of that. Because I don't know, when it sucks, there's only like so many people that will go past that suck. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, it's almost, I was a big time cyclist, and that taught me a lot about like, if I could just get over this hill. And then once you get over that hill, you look over again, you're like, dude, there's another hill. Dude, there's another hill. It's like surfing. Like if I just get over this wave, and then you see 3 big ones, you're about to go down for like 2 minutes, and it's going to suck. But once you catch the wave after that, you forgot all about it. You're like, oh, that sucked, but you were out there, you're having fun. And that's how I look at, what's happening today. I mean, you've got to be built for it. Trucking is hard. I mean, even brokerage, right? Like you have no idea who the other person is that you're doing business with. I mean, if that's the type of brokerage you're running, that's scary. But things are going to happen. So if you keep doing the same thing over and over, like, oh, okay, maybe I'll go back on the load board again tomorrow and figure it out, instead of like, maybe I got to change the way I'm doing things and build relationships. Because like, Guys, I don't know what you've been seeing. I know you had Fr8AI as one of your sponsors, but I was actually, my guy over here brought over to me because this AI, we celebrate, oh, look at this AI agent, right? And there's a lot of companies doing it on the brokerage side. But I'm part of an investment firm where I get to see the stuff that's being built for the carrier side. And I go, dude, we're never gonna build relationships if we're just automating everything. And I feel like that's where the industry is going. And that's where I'm like, you know what? Everyone's going that way. I'm going to go the human way. And I'm sure listening to you guys are, Matt's recruiting. He's bullish on recruiting agents. That means those agents want to build relationships. I mean, you're bullish on helping carriers and building your brokerage. So you don't even see it at all that there's going to be robots that could take over, whether that's autonomous trucks or autonomous human beings that are going to do all of our crap work. Of course, I want the tools, but not to replace these guys. And these agency, like I was just on the phone going, what, $252 for 985 miles? Like, yeah. I was like, what's going on? Who programmed these robots?
Yeah, we had somebody on who was most of the AI you're hearing about in the brokerage side. They're not a sponsor of the show. We had them on Bubba the other week. They're creating AI for the carrier side, and that was like the first that I've seen really that out there too much. Usually all you hear on LinkedIn is all the, AI brokerages, carrier sales rep, one for actual like carriers, which I thought was pretty interesting.
So
yeah, there's a couple.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Will. Sorry.
No, I was just saying, hey, Bubba's, their ICPs like the small to mid-size. There's a company called Fleetline that I'm an angel investor in. That's more the large carriers, and I think what they're doing is pretty exciting. But I'm aligned with you. I think that the tools to make the humans more efficient is great, but not to replace the humans, right? Like, how can I get more utility out of my actual people, but not replace them? I mean, that's at least what we try to do at Black Box, and we've demoed all the brokerage AI, and we haven't pulled the trigger on any of it because, one, I think that the prices are going to drop in like 6 months for a lot of it because it's really hot right now. And I don't think it's necessarily like where it needs to be for us to implement it comfortably.
Yeah, I've heard, what is that? Some are like $50,000 a month. I was like, what? Like, how? Right? Like, and it's, but that's just on that. And of course, I guess the temptation part is, oh, I don't have to hire a carrier sales rep. Mm-hmm. So that's one of the, that's who they're trying to eliminate without saying it publicly. But I'm a big fan of Bubba AI. And so we invest in a company called Lodex AI. And I know, Will, those guys that you have from Fleetline, those are the 19-year-olds from Y Combinator, right? So yeah, that's rad. I mean, it's that they're doing something cool, and they were very intentional about what they were building. They were trying to, because I did talk to one of the founders, and he said they spent hours and days and weeks thinking about what the problem would be. And I'm so glad that they picked this side, which is the carrier side, versus the brokerage side.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, like I don't know if it'll, like I am invested in it, but really like what sold me is talking to the guys. Like them being 19 years old, and I was just impressed with them. I was like, whether this works out or not, this is like somebody I want to support and like be in touch with, and so yeah, I'm along for the ride, and I'm excited. Yeah, it's just cool to see young people. I don't know, man. I was impressed with them. It was cool. I like them. So.
Yeah, Y Combinator, the Y Combinator stamp is pretty cool too, right? Like, they're backed by some really smart and experienced humans in tech. So, and I love that for the carrier side because the carriers need a lot of help. After talking to it's I don't know. We could go into the whole AI thing, but I haven't made my opinion yet because I have trucks, right? I'm like, how can I replace my drivers? Like, and I'm trying to figure out all of the ways that I could, okay, if I did that, would that replace that? Like, I have to balance and be careful with how I form my opinions about AI.
Yeah.
But I like going to all the events about AI because I'm just like learning and being a sponge about like what could actually work in trucking.
Yeah, well, I think in like AI too, it's so broad, and like speaking on it from a macro sense, AI, like all these different use cases, it's tough to say like yes or no unless you're getting into specifics. Same thing with, I mean, not as extreme, but automation too. So, you know, some use cases I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. And like, I really like that. And then other use cases, it's just like, you know, like, well, what the hell are we doing? So it's tough to talk about these things and like, you know, black and white, saying like, yes, I'm for it, or like, no, I'm against it, because I'm mixed based on, you know, the use case we're talking about, the application.
Yeah. No, it's still new, right? We're trying to figure out what can actually work in our industry and what is going to be what are we going to adapt to or adopt, right? Yeah. We've got to adopt and adapt to it. And so I don't know, man, there's a lot, and I like the back and forth. That's why I went on LinkedIn about a year ago, because I was like, oh shoot, there's people that do think like me, that do care, right? Like that are running.
You were on LinkedIn much before the last year or two?
No, dude, I've only been on LinkedIn for like 11 months. And so I know how 11 to like almost a year, because it's
I didn't even realize that. For whatever reason, thought I'd like seen your stuff on LinkedIn before we met like last October, but maybe I hadn't.
No, I never posted anything, because I was like, you know, I literally thought to myself, I'm like, this is the new way. Have you guys listened to like Gary Vee at all?
A little bit.
So he talks about social selling. And you know, I'm a big part of Entrepreneurs Organization. I just started surrounding myself with other entrepreneurs, and that's when it gave me the confidence to go out and do social selling. I mean, Will does a great job of it, right? He's funny. He said, "Oh, look at the People's 3PL Choice Award." I'm like, "Well, how come Fr8topia wasn't on there, man? Like, hey, I want to compete for this award. Like, are we gonna have an award ceremony next year, or you know what I mean?" But that's social selling right there. That's an example of like social selling, cutting through the BS. Like if someone was to look at Will's profile or my profile and say, wow, I already know these guys. They're not going to go and steal my freight. They're going to actually give a care. And that's way better. And I was like, that the only way to do that was put myself out there, but I've never wanted to put myself out there. And I just got comfortable. And I said, you know what? I have a story to tell. And it's something that I need to do. And I don't care anymore what people think. And it's hard. It's, you know, people always go like, and one of the things that I remember looking for the first time on one of the comments, I promised myself I wasn't going to look at comments on the podcasts that I've been on. And I was on Mother Truckers podcast. And one of the guys said, oh, you could tell he's from California. He wears a hat indoors. But now that I'm seeing Will wear one, Birmingham does it too.
Yeah.
Minnesota does it in the winter sometimes with the actual, not like hats like that, but the
the beanies.
The beanies, yeah.
Tristan, so what you said about social selling, for anybody listening, I think that at least the way I see it, the most important thing about social selling is not directly selling, right? And I think that's where a lot of people get it wrong. They get on LinkedIn or something, and you'll see it like these cookie cutter like promotions for their company or their service, and it's just like it doesn't. The social selling, you can't directly, maybe some people can. I hardly see it work. You don't directly like sell your product, push it. You just organic, human, and things happen organically over time. At least that's been my experience.
That's why job postings don't work all that well. When you see like 800 applications and like talk to recruiters and like 750 of them aren't in, you know, logistics. Just post a job. We have the greatest company. We're hiring. Like I don't see that work too well.
Well, I'm just learning about it, right? It's just like trial and error. And it's like, okay, do I post pictures of personal stuff? Do I talk about the business? What do I do? And what's my ask? Sometimes I don't have an ask, right? Like I really don't have an ask. It's just to put myself out there. And literally it's who am I going to align with? Because at the end of the day, I don't just want to take every single client that calls me, right? And I'm not here to hide. Like I want to be intentional about who I'm, like someone that cares about me. The principles of I want someone to care about me as much as I care about their business. And I mean, I've had clients from 21 years ago, like, you know, I have 3 customers that I still have that I cold call on in 2004. And I'm like, dude, that's the kind of relationships I want to build. And, you know, it's getting harder and harder as you guys know, there's a lot of dialing for dollars, a lot of that stuff that's going on right now. You know, I mean, the hyper growth type brokerages. And it's hard to compete with that, but I know it's transactional and it's just their turn and I'm just waiting for my turn. And, you know, just like I'm waiting for Will to give me a turn on this 3PL People's Choice Awards. Cause I think there's only one contender. So that's not fair.
He didn't put me as second. He put KCH as second place. He didn't put HC Ships as second place.
Look, guys, all you have to do, well, it's not all you have to do, right? The the ratings are how we decide who wins is a secret formula, and I'm not going to put that out there for everybody. But I will say, if you send me company merch, that goes away. And we'll leave it at that. Also, I don't want to get off topic, but Tristan, Miguel from Cargado wanted me to ask you what watch you're wearing today, and he wanted to say what's up.
I don't even know that guy. Tell him I'm not going to answer that question because we don't talk about watches publicly, and Miguel knows better. Miguel knows better. We're not going to show, but we'll say it real quick. There you go.
Man, I missed it. I was going back to I'm in a little slack with him. I was about to hit him on, but he didn't even know you, man.
No, Miguel's an awesome dude. Like I met him at Broker Carrier Summit. Very nice guy. He works hard, so I'm happy what he's doing over at Cargado. And I saw him at Manifest too. Good dude. So we talked about watches. I mean, that's something that I'm not comfortable publicly talking about.
Yeah. No,
remember when you talked to me about like, hey, what can we, no, we're not going to talk about money stuff here.
Yeah.
It's funny. We asked pre-show, and probably watches was not on your mind of something that we would bring up. Will always does this. He brings up like random stuff.
The last thing I would ever think is someone asking about a watch. I'm like, what?
Well, anyway,
are you going back to BCS, by the way, in the fall, Orlando?
No, I'm not going to go to BCS. I mean, I like what they're doing, but I just don't think there's a good balance. Like in all the way I feel about it, at least in my opinion, is that there's not enough carriers, right? And there's not enough brokers that I think that I could make there's a lot of talk about relationships. I don't really know about some of the brokers that showed up because I was looking it up, and I'm always, I'm looking at how they treated my guys over here. So I'll call in and say, hey, check out this brokerage. They're over here. I want to check them out. He's like, and then I don't get the feedback that I'm, looking for. And so I want more value and ROI. And no, I'm not, talking smack, but as someone who's going, I need to find ROIs. It's gotta have a good return on investment for me.
One thing I would hope that maybe, because I don't think it's been in Florida or like really the Southeast before. Maybe I'm wrong, but I would think maybe they draw some different carriers. Because obviously, this as a carrier, but I mean, a lot of carriers are going to want to travel from California to, Orlando, or maybe, depending on the location, you probably get a different network of carriers and brokers, I'd imagine.
Yeah. I mean, we should tell them to have it at Glendale, California.
Actually, has there been any big conferences? Like, there's that TP, what is it called? That I'm not really a drayage guy, but there's that one conference out in
Ayana. Yeah, there's Ayana. That's
Long Beach, right? There's like that one big one in Long Beach.
That's a fun one. I mean, I'm part of the Harbor Trucking Association and California Trucking Association, so it's the same guys, right? And what I like about it is there's a lot of carriers that you could learn from, and that's something that I feel if someone's throwing an event, there has to be value for other carriers, like us talking about like, hey, what are you doing to do this? What are you doing? And who are you working with? What insurance companies? And that's what's great about the associations. But some of the shows, I mean, I don't know. Is it just, dude, I don't even want to say it, but I feel like it's just a place to party. And I don't drink, right? Like, so I'm like, is it just a place to go and hang out and spend, marketing dollars just to go to these shows? So
yeah,
I don't know.
It can be tough. Yeah, I think when thinking about conferences, which I'm not a huge conference guy. I mean, I go to like a lot of some of our customers will do like logistics events, and like I'll always go see them. But like industry specific ones, I don't know. Yeah, it's like important to ask, what am I going to get out of it? And the broker carrier one, at least for us at Black Box, like it's kind of, which I haven't been. I would like to go. I was supposed to go. I had some things come up, but it's just, for example, like we want to build carrier relationships, but like a lot of our freight is spot small to medium sized companies. And so like, it's not super, like we might not like have anything. Like, it's great. Like I can meet you, we can talk, and like, we'd love to save your contact info. But our book's basically built off those small to medium sized shippers, these random shipments throughout the day. And it's just so much. It's, like I can't, it's very rare that it would make sense for me to like call this guy in his trucks and him run through it. It's just, I don't know, man. It's always tough because I get introduced to these trucking companies a lot of the time, and like I'm like nice and professional, and like yeah, like I'll say their contact info, but really like it's not a ton of ROI with it because we don't have anything that like usually lines up.
Yeah, no, and that is, man, that's fair. As far as on the carrier side, I can't expect every broker I meet to give me everything, right? I think that's the misconception that a lot of carriers have is, oh, if I get to meet Will, and I'm become friends with him, he's going to give me freight. But that doesn't mean your freight or the freight that you have aligns with the lane that we're doing.
Yeah.
But that, like, what are the, and it's, and if, even if it's like, a big company, one of the enterprise shippers, dude, those things suck anyways. Right. Like, I don't want to haul that with my freight. So, but having a balance of the Wills of the world, right? If there was like Wills and Tristans of the world, and Matt, I don't know if you do carrier sales, but like, if you can hang out as a carrier with like 30 of those guys, something will align.
Yeah.
Right. Like, eventually. But if they're guys that have the mentality of like just turn and burn, which they always talk, it's always hidden in the relationships part of the conversation. But like, you could see how they are in public, right? Like, I watch what they do, not what they say. So, and being in the chair because you've been in dispatching, it only took me a couple months to figure out like, wow, that's what other brokerages do. That's really how they behave. That's how the people, that's why there's not a lot on LinkedIn. That's why I laugh. I'm like, where's all these carrier sales guys that talk about relationships? Like, it's because they're douchebags, dude. Like, it's what it is.
You don't see many. That's actually a good point. It's interesting. You don't see many. I didn't really think about that till you brought it up. You see a lot of people talking about recruiting, brokerage sales, owning a brokerage, freight tech. I'm trying to think of like any carrier sales reps that I know that post on like a regular basis. And I never really thought of that until you brought that up. It's mainly like people talking about customer sales, recruiting, freight tech, owning a brokerage, personal stuff. But I don't see carrier sales be talked about a whole ton, except some cradle to grave reps obviously bring it up.
Well, the cradle to grave guys, I love those guys, right? They care. They literally, that's the reason why they're 1099. Like, the guys that you recruit, those guys care. And those are the best types of, like, when I tell my guys all the time, make sure you look for guys like me. The guys that were 1099, those guys care. You're never going to get a guy that sits at one of the bigger brokerages. He's not going to care. And he's not going to be online talking about it. And so, like, when people are quick to defend carrier sales, it's them, right? They feel like attacked, but it's not them that we're talking about. It's the ones that aren't showing up on LinkedIn talking about their problems or why they got this carrier or why they have that problem. They're not online because they know how they behave. They know how they behave. Like, it's there should be I always thought, why can't some guys just put it together and just say, here are all the, like, a hall of shame.
We almost did it. We almost made the dog pound, and we were going to put people in the dog pound. We were going to take submissions.
No, we were not. We were not almost going to do that.
We thought about it. It was an idea. But I will say,
can we get sued by doing that? Like,
I don't know.
Will's going to get our podcast sued. We have a very small podcast. Next year, we're going to have a $100,000 defamation lawsuit.
We'll have to make a new one. But look, one of my guys posted something about a brokerage on LinkedIn like a week ago. We got a cease and desist, like, via email. It wasn't even anything crazy. But I will say, like, all of the I don't know, man. It's just social media in general, and it's not exclusive to like LinkedIn, but LinkedIn is a more professional platform. But with anything, it's kind of smoke and mirrors. People talk about the good, not the bad. So nobody's going to sit there and like post about like, excuse my French, but like fucking somebody over. But like that happens, right? Everybody's going to talk about the carrier relationships, but again, it's good to look at like what people do versus what they say. And like, yeah, man, everybody's going to say they value carriers because like you would never, like, nobody's going to just be like, yeah, like we don't care because you just don't do that. But
I have seen some people say that on LinkedIn, believe it or not. I have seen some outrageous things said. I've heard some people actually say that. But
yeah.
Dude, when I look back at it as an old, like, my old me, and I was kind of, I didn't know. That's the only difference, right? Like, imagine growing up in a place where you didn't know what was, what other people thought were bad until you, like, if you didn't know the cost, like, I always thought, I guess, RateView says it all. This is how much it costs to run a truck. RateView, you trust RateView. No one's underwriting everything that you get from, the rate views of the world, or like history of, if someone did it for that price, dude, anyone can do it for that price. Right? Like, that's how we were thinking. And so, yeah, we don't think we're doing anything wrong. And then when someone gets called out on it on LinkedIn, they, everyone defends them. But at the end of the day, I'm like, dude, you don't see what these guys are actually really doing. Like, sit down at someone that's doing dispatch for a real company, and you could see, I get it, your brokerage probably doesn't tolerate that type of behavior, but check out these brokerages.
Well,
like,
if
if they're,
is how it
go
goes.
ahead.
You're sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just thinking, when you have a brokerage that is going after the reps that have helped them become these big behemoth brokerages, and you go after those guys, like, yeah, those are not the kind of dudes I want to work with that neither.
Well, it spreads down too. I was just thinking about this as we were honest. We still have an agent. He's been here for over a year, but he owned a trucking company, and he did at the time a 15 truck fleet. At the time, he had a family member that is a pretty big shipper, so he wanted to broker off, that. And we had to talk to him, his first month here, because he fined a carrier an absurd amount of money for something very minuscule they probably shouldn't even fine him for. And his excuse, he's like, well, I own a trucking company, and these 3-letter brokerages and these other big brokerages do this to me all the time. So why can't I? Well, I can't do it. Why I can't do it back? And so, I mean, some of that, crosses down, whereas, some of these trucking owners enter the brokerage and they think that that's just norm because that's what happens to them, which I thought, was interesting, as we're talking about this.
That's very interesting, because I would think he'd be a little bit more empathetic to that situation and say, hey, look, how can we work through this? I mean, I don't know, man. That's why I don't, there's so many opportunities right now if you're a good human. I mean, at least I see it in freight, right? If you're a good human being and that's really what your intention is, it's okay. Like, you don't need to get Nestle. You'll be fine, right? We had Nestle for a long time. And even when we lost them, we're still fine. I mean, I've had some big accounts. I've lost them all. I mean, it was just my turn. Like, everyone thinks they have an account and they're like, oh, I'm going to get this one. You know what accounts that really matter? You get a bunch of the small, mid-sized ones, and Will can probably tell you, like, those are the best accounts, man. Like, I don't care if I'm not getting 30 a day or 10 a week, but I'm getting some profitable onesies and twosies here, and multiply that by 200.
Yeah, I think a lot of people get caught at the top line revenue in the big names. So even, I'm not going to go into too much detail, but we had a couple of reps join on Friday abruptly that we onboarded because their previous company filed bankruptcy. And we onboarded 2. There was 3 of them, and one of the accounts that they were talking about bringing over, very big name enterprise account, and they're able to kind of like share what they were doing with them, and like the payment terms, just like, it's not profitable. Like, it's not profitable. And like, yeah, it's a big name account. We could say like, hey, like, we work this account and we have this much volume and we do this much revenue, but dude, I'm fucking losing money if I run it. It's like, I don't want that. And some of the big companies, they want the top line revenue, the multiples and all that good stuff. But yeah, we found really good success, not only in the relationships, but the ROI on the small to mid-size, because they care about, it's just more, again, back to like just human connection, all that good stuff. And it's not really just turn and burn volume at minimal margins and then, man, even then I'll say if it's small to mid-size, you usually have more room to take care of carriers. But if I'm running this business with all these loads and then like one thing happens and I have to pay out of pocket, now all of a sudden, like, it's like almost detrimental. Like, I don't have as much room to take care of people, and like freight karma is real. So that's my take on it. Went all over the place, but bigger is not always better. It's just not.
I just, you got to be profitable, right? Profitable gives you the legs. And I think a lot of what they don't, I mean, everyone sees that, okay, it's a big account, it's a big name. And then they don't look at the pay terms, right? We're not a bank. Brokerages are not banks. So if you're borrowing money for 90 days, like, that's insane. And then it's like, you can't carry money for 90 days for a lot of these guys. And they expect you to be a bank or an extension of their credit. And I'm like, okay, guess how many people are in there extending them credit? There's 6 other brokerages in there. That means to multiply that by 200,000. Now they have $1.2 million in credit, and they're just running it at 90 days. Like, you are the ones taking the playing bank for making no money. And yes, you get to say you've had that account, but at the end of the day, man, it's about, like, a brokerage needs to make money. Everyone needs to make money, because if you go out of business, imagine how many carriers you're not going to pay. I can't imagine, like, we have a $75,000 bond running $1 million worth of freight, and you have like, it doesn't, to me, I'm like, dude, this doesn't make any sense whatsoever, ever.
Yeah,
I think people forget the fact. It's what I know. I don't rush people with recruiting, but I talking to quite a few people right now, and whose company can't pay carriers. all the factoring companies are pulling out. What I tell them is like, you can stay. Like, I don't normally rush people, but in this situation, I do put a little pressure, because if like this company goes out of business, the carriers are gonna sue your shippers, and good luck ever working with that shipper ever again, because if they pay your brokerage and the brokerage doesn't pay the carrier has a right to still sue the shipper, and then the shipper's gonna end up paying twice. That's what I think a lot of brokerage sales reps forget about.
It's never good.
Yeah.
Well, do you have an agency program with Black Box?
So like yes and no, and we can get into it. So so Dispatch, we got started on an agency model, like us agents with a company out of Brilliant, Wisconsin, Primary Freight. We still have a lot of business through that agency. So the idea was we'll start the agency, then pivot to Black Box MC. But it was like post-COVID boom. So like we just ran off with the sales, and it took us a little bit longer to do that. So Black Box MC was aged, and we finally started shifting stuff over. We've got one guy who's an agent, but he was our first employee. One of my best friends growing up, our first hire. He's just one of those people that can't sit in an office. So he went to go be an agent, but we don't ever, which obviously not obviously, but things are subject to change. Our idea is to never really go outside for outside agents. If we want an agent, maybe it's somebody that's been with us for a little while that needs the freedoms, moving or something. Cool, go. We'll give you the playbook, like scale an agency like with us. But we don't want to go recruit agents like Matt does. It's just it's not us. Not saying it's
Thank
not
goodness,
us.
otherwise that'd affect the show. We'd have to be competing.
Yeah. but yeah, we're just different that way. That like we're not. I don't know. We want it to be like homegrown. We want them to operate the way that we do, and we would want the agent to like come up with Black Box and like have the Black Box way, rather than somebody that might do things differently. It's our baby, right? Like bootstraps. We don't want random people that we just don't know that well, operating with our authority. So we have one agent, but I mean, again, he was an employee, and he's in Birmingham. So.
No, I'm learning from you guys, because I was thinking, should I use my brokerage for an agency program? But I'm like, reputation's so awesome out on the with carriers, and I'm like, I don't want someone to ruin it, right? Like, because I have a front seat to some of these big brokerages, and I'm like, dude, there's no way I could hire some of these guys, or even they don't align.
Yeah,
it's hard.
That's the problem with agents too. They're their own boss, so like,
not
like in their day to day of what they're doing. I know you said you like working. I understand that, like working with cradle to grave agents in general, I think is good for carriers. But you also have the problem, as like we do in like recruiting and management of an agent program, that like sometimes you don't have eyes on like everything a W-2 is having on in terms of carrier relations, in terms of what they're doing in their email. They're their own business owners, so it kind of prevents a challenge sometimes too there to not have our reputation. We have a good carrier rating, at least compared to, I looked at our carrier rating once on DAT compared to other brokerages, and it's good, but like we could have one agent in there come in and screw that up completely overnight.
Yeah, you'd have to start I don't know, like Landstar does it. This is the office in Birmingham or Minnesota, right? Like, so it doesn't mess up the whole team's reputation. But yeah, man, it's crazy, because I mean, that's why we get along so well, is because you guys are aligned in building small and building organically and building, being sustainable. I mean, that's what business is, and that's the only way to grow. The only way you could grow your business is profit. There's no other way.
At least the only way to grow it sustainably, because
VC money, or you could just trick people and go on raise money all day, which is, it could be a business. Raising money could be a business. So yeah.
Well, yeah. So I mean, I would say, I don't know. I don't own trucks, right? But I feel like, relationships are important in general, but even more so with the trucks. I feel like you just have so much more exposure, especially when the market gets bad. Like brokers maybe don't have the overhead that trucks do, right? So like when the market dips, like it's not good, but it's much more extreme for carriers. Would you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely. And it's kind of funny. I always do this, like when the brokerage is struggling, the carrier side's doing well. And then when the carrier side's doing well, when the brokerage is doing well, the carrier side's not doing so well. I've always seen that balance. And, right now it's, we're 2-3 years into like crap, but I'm like, it's hard, but I've always also learned how to scale down.
Yeah.
So, and I didn't go out and I didn't go crazy with my growth because I understand it on the brokerage side. Like I understand the cycles where I'm not going to just go all out. And it's getting harder and harder to find great drivers too. Like I've got to, you know, and like what Matt was saying about owner operators, you know, being in California, you know, there's AB5. And I did, when I first started out, I worked with owner operators, but it was exactly the thing that I hated. They were just their own, it's like you're trying to control someone's ego because they're a business owner and it's hard. So I went away from that because I'm like, there's no way I could do this and just manage. I've just got to manage my drivers. That's hard enough. So it is a lot of work. I mean, you know, fuel comes out every 7 days. You don't get to say that the check is in the mail. Yeah. You don't get to pull that off, you know, like you do in brokerage, like, oh, the check's in the mail, but oh shit, maybe that wasn't on the check run. I'm sorry, I missed that one on the check run. So you can't do that with fuel. You can't do that with insurance. You can't do that with your equipment, right? So you can't do that with your driver that needs to get paid because we pay weekly. So it's tough. It's really tough. Cash flow has been super tight on the carrier side. And I've had to put back a lot of my money into it in the last 2 years. And I thought, like, when I first started this business, I started with $125,000 in cash, $478,000 in equipment loan, and $60,000 in credit card. Like, that's how I launched Iamfr8, all bootstrapped. And I thought, oh man, after a year and 3 months of not making money, I started paying myself back, right? And when I paid myself back, I was like, oh, this is it. I'm so happy. And then boom, March of 2022, I'm like, oh shoot, it started to go through all my savings through the business. And then now I'm back to lending money to the trucking company again. And that's the same with every owner right now. Every owner is putting their own money into this business, or they're doing some sort of financial engineering where they're borrowing money off of paid equipment. And that's been, you know, a lot of guys that I've been talking to, I'm like, how do you pull that off? Like, it seems like I can't understand it because to me, it looks like fraud.
Yeah.
But I'm not willing to do that.
Yeah. Well, so the companies that, well, I mean, there's been a lot of companies that have had, it's obviously been hard, but there's a handful around my area that have either filed or there's rumors about it, and they're all they all have asset and brokerage. And the story I keep hearing is that the assets are just tanking, and the brokerage is doing okay, and the brokerage is funding the assets. And at a certain point, it becomes unsustainable, and then it falls apart. But yeah, what a crazy. So I'll say this is so much different, right? But it makes me think of this. So we're much bigger than we were, say, like 3 years ago, but I made a lot more money 3 years ago than I do today. And I always thought, like, okay, like as we grow, like I'm going to make more money. It's just better. Bigger is not all, again, bigger's not always better. It's like we got way more people, way more business. But yeah, like I find myself some weeks, it's like the payroll's like not where we want it to be. I'm like, how is this still happening? We have all of this growth, everything's gone good. And it's like when we started, I just didn't. Again, I've never experienced that or like known that. So it's like, have to deal with it and accept it and find a way to make it work. But it sounds like you're being very wise about it.
Well, owning a business, you're seriously a servant to the people that you're building a platform for. And people don't understand that. A lot of people think like, oh, you're the business owner and you're supposed to be rich. I'm like, no, dude, like I make money off of I have investments. I'm doing real estate and I'm trying to figure out other ways to make money. But the platform that we've built isn't for me to, with bags of money. Because when you really look at it, the bigger you get, the less money you do take. You're like, oh, but then there's also that exit that you're looking for. If that's something that you want, right down the line, you're like, well, I built something awesome. Maybe that's my payday. And then, but yeah, it's just for, what I wanted to do was just give a job for me and my wife, who was a stay-at-home mom. I'm like, dude, you can do the books. And so, giving her a job and then giving some of my friends a job and then having drivers like just trying to change their life. Cause I want to ask them like, what is it that can help you? Like, what is it? And I'm trying to figure it out and try to balance out the costs and what really makes sense. Cause obviously you can't just do everything for them. It's gotta be a give to get model, but it's an interesting balance to have to run a business. And then, also when people always have this like idea of the business owner being super rich, but I'm like, no, dude, we're like servants. The only reason why we get to do what we do is that, we're taking the big risks, and we get written off all the time as, oh, you guys just want. And there's people that are like that, but not all of us are like that. Yeah. Like the family business that makes sandwiches down the street, they're they're just trying to provide a job for them and their employees. That's all they're doing. Same thing here.
Yeah, I like how you described, like bringing in maybe like a friend, give them a job, these drivers. So, yeah, I mean, I got into business for myself to make money. Like that was my goal. I was like, I can make more money doing this. This is like what I want to do. I want to make as much money as I can. Like day one, that was my mindset. And then as we progressed as a company and like I had some of those experiences, like bringing in friends that like I've known my whole life, giving them a job, like watching them buy a house or a car. And I'm like, damn, like that's the good stuff. Like that's the stuff that keeps me going, dedicated and invested in this company. And it's not the money like I thought it was going to be, because really and truly, like that's like a pretty fucking empty thing to chase if it's all about money, and I don't think that's going to end well. But yeah, no, that's good stuff.
How old are you, Will?
26.
Holy moly! I wish I knew this at 26. Like it was all about money and bottle service and showing off with the nice cars and the watches, and then yeah, you get empty. Like once you have everything, once you have a lot of the things that you need, you're like, dude, this sucks.
Yeah.
You meet your wife that way at least at the club?
I was like, yeah, there's no way I could have met a pretty girl like that. Like, are you looking at my pictures? Or, I'm just joking. no, it's that's how it was. It was all about, trying to show off but once you have it, once you've reached some like the finish line, and it's never going to stop. Right. But like you always set up a different finish line. But when you do, you're like, now it's like, how many people did I help? It's fun to do it by yourself, but dude, when your homies don't have money, forget about it, dude. It's like, it feels good when they could buy a house and they could buy a car, or you've helped people. Like that's more fun than just you hanging out. It's like, talk about emptiness. And I've been there, I'm 47, guys.
Yeah. Yeah. If you can't share with people around you, then it's kind of, it's like a really like empty place to be. Damn, dude, I had a thought I really wanted to bring up and it just slipped my mind. Oh, yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna talk about this real quick. Then tell you. There's a book. It's called The Gap in the Game. I forget. Somebody tagged me in LinkedIn with it, but it's about this concept, right? About like no matter like where I go, like in my journey, my progress, I'm gonna hit. If like I'm a high performer, whatever, driven enough, I'm most likely gonna hit that. And when I hit that, it's the like anticipation that's really giving me like the dopamine, like the feel good stuff. And then when I hit it, like I'm gonna feel so empty because I'm just gonna move the post, and it's just never ending. And the whole concept is to measure backwards. So like the gap in the game. The game being like, or the gap being the ideal version of like my outcomes. No matter how much money you make, like you're going to want to make more money. If you're in that mindset, whatever it is, like if I'm this big, I want to be this big. And it's just like, you're always going to be chasing empty. But if you measure backwards, where it was to where it is and find gratitude, then it's a really good way to, so I'm told, I'm still practicing, but to avoid, like burnout, practice gratitude and all that good stuff. I really enjoyed the book. If anybody's listening, check it out if you can relate to any of that stuff we were just talking about. Matt, didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, I forgot anyway. But that is, I have heard you talk about that topic. I think you posted about that topic. It's a great
Probably. Yeah, it was a good book, man. It was really good.
No, Will, you're very mature for a 26-year-old to think that way, because I didn't start reading books like that until I was in my 40s. Like I read The Second Mountain by David Brooks. It's exactly what you're saying. There's a lot of where you're like, whoa, I hit that mountain. And it's like, okay, what's the second mountain that I'm actually going to feel fulfilled?
Yeah. I'll check that out. Yeah. It depends who you ask about my maturity, right? Some people would say like, yeah, it's really silly. Who's like, dude, like we don't know how he's like still alive. But for me, my experience was like, that's the mindset that like I was in. And like I had like one of these things so badly, and I worked so hard for them and sacrificed a lot for them. And then when I finally got them, it was like, damn, like that didn't do it for me. And if that didn't do it for me, like what's going to do it for me? There's like a whole like psychic shift. Not psychic, but like, man, it was like a crazy like moment for me to like really like look at it and assess like what matters in this world. And like I had a bunch of these like ideals, or like, like these values that like weren't true values. So it was a cool experience for me to kind of like find out like who is like really Will like inside versus like who does Will want people to think he is or appear or come off as. So no, it was good stuff.
Dude, mind blowing. At 26, man, that's, I wish I could have learned that at 26.
I forget it all the time. It's just, you caught me on a hot streak on the podcast thinking about the book. So like I sound really good.
You're on a roll right now. You're crying.
I'll just clip it so everybody thinks I'm really wise. But again, watch what people do, not what they say. So for me, it's an ongoing process. I still slip into that mindset.
Yeah, remember that when he talks about Black Box being the people's choice, guys.
Yeah. And the 90-day fiance, right? Like, we gotta.
That's Matt.
But Matt, I think you got to add English proficiency test to your 90-day fiance.
No, Matt
I can speak Spanish. My Spanish is getting pretty good, honestly.
They have to come here. You're not the one going there.
Who knows? I'm not against living out in Colombia or South America. I'm not ruled that out.
All right, boys. Well, how long does this show start? I have another call right now.
I was just about to say we're going over what we normally do.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, conversation flow. But we'll go ahead and wrap it up, man. Is there anything else you want to say to the audience? Where can they find you if they want to connect, follow along, all that good stuff? Any final shameless plugs you want to throw in there?
Oh no, man. I'm just on LinkedIn and hoping that my message comes across as helping the community. That's it.
Awesome, man. Well, Tristan, thanks for joining us. You've been a great guest, and it's nice to finally meet you past just like LinkedIn comments. So thanks again, man, for taking the time to join us today.
Yeah, thanks,
I'm gonna slide into your guys' DM. I mean, I think I have Matt's number, but I'm sure I'll exchange info with you.
Yeah, let's do it.
Awesome, man. Thanks, guys.
People who solicit you, give Will's number out to them
all. All right. Come on, man. I'm just not going to respond if anybody DMs me about their product, unless it's a cool product, man. I mean, I can be sold.
Yeah. Well, shout out again. That was a great episode. I said that's one of the longer ones we've done in a while. So conversation was just flowing. Shout out to Wirebee, Carrier AI Vetting. Great company, great product. Stop spoofing. Black Box Logistics, Will's company, HG Ships, where I recruit agents for. Sales Dash, as we always say, the OG sponsor. Freight Specific CRM, Will's company uses it. We have agents that use it. And TAF's top 10 factoring company. Can't say enough about Ryan and Rob. Been with us for a year. Really growing company. Great customer support. I think it's open till midnight during the week. And we'll be back next week, and we got a great dog of the week for Friday too.
Yeah, all of our sponsors are absolute dogs. Matt, we need to work on this. You saying Black Box is Will's company versus Black Box Logistics, the People's Choice 3PL. We'll practice offline. Enjoy the rest of your day. We'll have Dog of the Week out tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in, everybody.
Yeah, see you guys next week.